Good morning. Oh, this is a good one. This is good on Good Friday as well. So wishing you a happy Easter for those that are you partaking, a beautiful long weekend, and just a good Friday, a good end to the week and a great weekend. So I am going to talk to you today as part of 21 days, day 9 already, 21 days to transform through your passion, power and purpose, aka your soul. And I'm just doing 21 days of lives, short lives, 15 to 20 minutes here on my Celestial Coach page. I'm trying to build that up. I've kind of neglected Facebook for a while, and I'm back and giving it some love. So I'm doing these lives, like I said, 20 minutes thereabouts, maybe a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. All about how you can step into that highest expression of yourself, how you can take yourself from where you are to where you want to be. What do you dream? What do you desire? What do you envision? What do you feel you're capable of, but you can't see that happening right now? So we're on day 9. It's been quite a lot that we've covered already. And although I have a rough plan of what I'm going to cover, obviously, that, I don't rock up, I have no idea what to say. But I have decided to completely go off piste today. And so divine intervention, channeled, whatever you want to call it, I am going to talk to you today about Medusa. So maybe the wardrobe choice kind of kickstarted that, or maybe there was something that started even before that to enable the wardrobe choice. However, Medusa, and the reason, and bear with, this is actually going to go deeper than possible we've gone already. That's a big bold statement, isn't it? And yeah, who knew? When I set out for 21 days to transform, like I said, I had this came to me this morning. This is inspired, and I'm going to do more of this in the sense of, you can get how to change your life in 21 days from anywhere, can't you, frankly? Probably ChatGPT will do it for you. But I need to give something different. I want to give you something different. I'm going to take you places you've not been before when it comes to your soul path and soul journey, and that you stepping into your highest expression of yourself. And I do that. I am a celestial coach. I do that with understanding and sharing insights and enlightenment from energetics, and in particular, all of those around us in the cosmos. I do. There is some grounding and some other Earth, some Gaia pieces as well, but that will be for another day. But today we're looking at Medusa, and so let's just start. How that weaves into the celestial, first and foremost, is it is an asteroid. So this is where it comes. This is where it comes to. Okay, and it's kind of, if it's where it is on your birth chart, the placement of it indicates like a wisdom and a hidden truth, but also that hidden truth is the confrontation of truth needed. So there is real wisdom in this. And I'm going to unpack all of that for you. And the reason that it is so potently perfect for talking about on a 21 day to transform conversation is that there were some questions towards the end that are going to go so deep. Yeah, so deep. So let's talk about Medusa. You may have heard she is the monster with the snake hair. But much maligned. My t-shirt actually says, you can't see it all, it says "Petrify the Patriarchy," which is an insight into my take on all of this. And not only am I giving you my take on coaching and transformation today by dropping Medusa into the conversation, I'm also going to share with you my heartfelt, soul knowing version of events of the myth, and which leads to the whole Petrify the Patriarchy piece. So Medusa, if you don't know, or if you do, just a quick recap, it might have been a while since you did Greek mythology at school. It's a constant topic of conversation in our household, but that's what you'd expect. No. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Medusa, one of three sisters. She lives by the sea. In fact, if we go back further, her parents are, she comes from the sea, worth knowing. And she is the high priestess for Athena. So you got to love all of that, right? High priestess and Athena. So Athena is the Greek goddess of knowledge and wisdom. And so Medusa is the guardian of a temple for Athena. All going perfectly well. Everyone is very happy with this. It's all going. This is good. Up comes Poseidon, god of the sea, decides to claim Medusa for her absolute beauty. I'm going to add in, that's the traditional story. I'm just going to add in a first take of Karina in here. Possibly love to for her intelligence as well and her whole demeanor. She's serving, but she is intelligent and she is guarding. There's some real qualities coming through. Why would he not fall in love with her? So he falls in love with her, but as is Greek mythology, the way that you propose or claim your bride is to rape her, and that's what he did. So this is the myth. This is the story that everyone understands, is agreed. There's nothing new I've put in here. And then, as the conventional story goes, what we're all socially conditioned to understand is that Athena is furious, absolutely furious, because part of being one of Athena's priestesses in her temples is this chaste, virgin there is no shenanigans going on. So of course she's furious. Supposedly it was a Medusa, and it's Athena that turns Medusa into the monster that we now also know of her. So this is with the snake hair now. She didn't have snake hair, so she was beautiful. She might have gorgeous curly hair. But she's now got snakes, and she's now got teeth and scales, and is just a monster. And is banished to some island. And men are sent to slay Medusa. It's all part of her punishment from Athena. And her defense is, Medusa's defense is that she can turn a man to stone. Perseus comes along, manages to trick Medusa, cuts off her head, brings back her head and gives it to Athena. And Athena then adds her head to her shield, which she then uses as another form of protection. And I think that is the interesting secret inroad to actually my version of this truth. So I'm going to share it with you. Everyone, the patriarchy, loves a cat fight. There is nothing, it does, doesn't it? That's not news to anyone. I don't believe Athena punished Medusa. Oh my God, can you hear thousands of years of people studying this, thinking, what is she talking about? Bear with. I think it was Medusa that took herself off from the shame of what had happened. She internalized what had happened with Poseidon, and she took herself away from Athena, feeling that she'd failed Athena. By virtue of Athena having Medusa's head on her shield for further protection, I'm interpreting that as that she wanted to continue to be protected by Medusa. She had served her loyally up until Poseidon got in on the act, and I think that's actually the sisterhood. That's what I'm going with. Whether you like my take on the story or not, whether I'm going to be well, if I am inundated, then I know that my 21 days of life, my 9 lives are getting out there. I would love to have a conversation with people that study this in more detail. However, whatever the story, we can all agree that Medusa, from an astrological perspective, where that asteroid sits in your chart is about where there is wisdom and hidden truth, possibly part of what's wild and untamed in you, and that part of you that maybe you don't even like to look at. It is that the whole point of Medusa, that you could only look at her through a mirror. I think the petrifying piece, by the way, I kind of glossed over that when that became her gift, her power. I think it's just that it's that power that people that the men that were sent to slay her were petrified of her, were fearful of her and her power. I don't buy the rest of the stories we shared, but that part, and knowing and internalizing what parts of you are you scared of, what parts of you that are wild and untamed, that also show to a hidden wisdom, a hidden truth. And I think the whole part of hidden truth, I think that is the absolute message of this entire story. It's there. It's that kind of, it's right there, and we haven't been able to see it. But who am I to argue with thousands of years of storytelling? I'm going to, and I have shared it with you. And I guess the other part, that part of the story that everyone agrees on is that she was the guardian, she was the high priestess. So she combines this beautiful it is a beautiful combination coming together of that watery element, as if she came from the sea and it was part of an island where she was the temple. So there's this aspect of the sea. The Poseidon piece is a nod to the sea as well. But that's kind of like that watery an emotion, water of life kind of piece. And then serving Athena, that is knowledge and mind and wisdom. And so she kind of got this beautiful combination. If this really speaks to you, if it, where there's water and air signs in your chart, this will probably really peak for you. And the other thing that we agree is that it's that there is a transformation piece, because there was a change. That whatever the story is, that one day this was how it was, and then this happened. So there was a big event, and then there's something different off the back of it. So everyone can agree there's transformation aspect, energy in all of this. But it is that kind of hidden emotion, and I think there is that kind of shame and guilt angle of all of that, and I think that's without wanting to speak to the trauma angle, there's an element that I think all of us can identify with. When that shame and guilt and holding on to it and burying it deep and not wanting to show that, and being frightened of what would happen if that came out. That kind of that piece is here as well, that energy. But also what we can lean to, where it's on your chart, is that she was protective, she was a protector. I said in working for Athena, and so what is it that you protect? What is it that, and that's a protecting of yourself as well. So it's kind of like the values piece, what's important, what's in the kind of the external piece. But then, which is what I was actually going to talk to you about today, which was values. But that's just too bland compared to this. Anyone can talk to you about values. And so there is that outward facing protected piece, but then there's the internal, and she was protecting herself thereafter the event, the Poseidon event, whatever happened with her and Athena. There she is now, protecting herself. She took herself away, or she was sent away. She was banished, or she withdrew, and that was another form of protection. If it's her own doing, it's to protect herself. So what are the places? What are the secrets? What are the things in you that are too painful to be outward, or what are you too frightened of for them to be outward? You see, this is where we're going deep. This is the absolute pure magic of this. And I'm so glad that we're talking about it, because, like I said, anyone can talk to you about values. And they're important, don't get me wrong, absolutely that they are. But, I want to give you something different, something more rich, more enriching. So asking yourself, which parts of you are wild and untamed? Which parts of you are you protecting from the rest of the world? And they're in yourself, first and foremost. And why would you do that? Let's take a moment. I can feel that. I can feel that. So take a moment on that. But it's also that piece of how deep that is, and how how, the rivers run, silent waters will run deep. It's that kind. You can take that aspect to it. So what parts of you go deep, but are very quiet to the outward world, because inside there's something that you don't want to share. That kind of that takes energy to hide something so important to you. And so kind of it is that this is what, and Medusa is a dark goddess, dark feminine energy, dark feminine power, because tapping into that piece there, the great strength, the amount of strength it takes to hide that part of you, is something to reflect on. That amount of energy, that strength, and it is that part of your whole self that's not coming to the front, not seeing the light of day, that possibly would petrify you if you let it out. And it's almost that kind of, if we take away the shame angle, let's just say it was her power of her, any other power she had, and the story would be her beauty to start with, and that's what she's the patriarchy is punishing her for being too beautiful. And of course we don't, the patriarchy loves it when one other woman doesn't like one other woman's beauty. Okay, so it's clear the story is written from the patriarchy. You can see I've got problems with it. I'm fine, and I'm very open about that. But if we just took that assumption that is her, that's what she's afraid of, but it's actually a gift. It's actually a talent. It's actually something to be celebrated and to be nurtured in a really positive, healthy kind of way. And that's what is your equivalent of Medusa's hiding something away that is just inherently her? Something that maybe you're afraid of, the strength of it, the power of it. So a superpower, a super strength, a gift that you've got that you're turning yourself away from. What is that, and why is that? Told you it was deep. We were going to talk about values. Do you want me to talk about values? No, let's carry on with this. Okay, so in relation to 21 days, I've got my, the questions that I was going to pose, the journaling prompts, the meditations, wander ponder. What are your more wild and untamed parts of you? What is it that you hide? And perhaps they're the wild and untamed pieces. What is the emotional cost of that for you? I'm weaving in the mind piece. So I said that there's the emotions and there's the mind, the wisdom piece. Mercury goes retrograde in a couple of days, on the 1st, on Monday. And that is obviously all about the mind. That is about going inward, having a bit of quietness, more reflective, more recalibration, regrouping, all the re's. So go inward and kind of harness a bit of the Medusa piece that we're talking about today and the retrograde. Because although it's on Monday, it's kind of starting to feel that way now. This is a good time to meditate on it. How are your emotions shaping your identity? Which is what we talked about yesterday. Oh my gosh, this is big stuff, isn't it? So how are your emotions shaping your identity? What is your mix? What is the blurring? What is your Medusa mix of emotion and mind? How is that impacting your beliefs and your identity? How is that impacting you on where you are today versus where you want to be? What is that inner wisdom that you are withholding? And then we talked on previous sessions about how much I love language. And there's this, I can ask you, what are you guarding? And that will give you a particular frame of reference. And the guarding. Guarding is I take the word guarding. If you take it differently, then fine, but run with me with this. Guarding is a bit more, barriers up. It's more constrictive. If I asked you, what are you the guardian of? Guardian has a very different vibe. Guardian is lighter. For me, a guardian is nurturing, potentially the feminine version, and guarding is more masculine version. I hadn't thought about that before till I said it. Then, maybe that's what that is. But yeah, feel into what are you guarding and what are you the guardian of when it comes to you and your soul path and your soul gifts. So yes, where is your feminine power acting as a guardian? Appreciating Medusa is a dark feminine goddess. So the dark feminine is the bits that are hidden, the bits that you're not necessarily shouting about, sharing. Would the world be a better place if you were? How does that relate to your transformation that you're seeking? I'm going to leave you with that. That is big stuff. Oh my gosh, that is big stuff. You might want to watch this on replay. Take notes. Yeah. Where's that Medusa in you? And how does that relate to your journey, your path to where you're heading? How does that impact you following your North Star? I'll leave that with you. Have a super, super rest of the day. Take care of you.